We have the right guaranteed by the Constitution to criticize and satirize our leaders. This is a right that many of us take for granted. It's one that I took for granted for the first 57 years of my life until September of last year. We will not stand by when comedy and journalism and dissent are censored and regulated and criminalized. Thank you to Donald Trump, our commander-in-thief, Abraham Lincoln, Orange Julius Caesar, Greedy McGulfy, Dopey McGropey, and Pumpkin McPornhumper. Thank you for inspiring us to fight for our freedom of speech.
Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in New York. We didn't even get to him calling Donald Trump Blob the Builder and the hungry, hungry hypocrite. Jimmy Kimmel accepted a Peabody Award over the weekend on the power of using humor to call out Donald Trump's autocratic impulses and tell the truth about what's happening in our country right now from his very powerful perch. And while Donald Trump has never, ever been accused of making anyone's job easier, except maybe that of the guy that puts gold leaf on everything in the Oval Office, when it comes to using satire to speak truth to power, sometimes Trump does the job for all of us. Over the weekend, after artist dropped out of his Freedom 250 concert series, including Celebrity Apprentice winner Bret Michaels, Donald Trump took to his favorite social media platform to declare this, quote, "I understand artists are getting the yips having to do with their performance on Wednesday, so I am thinking about bringing the all caps #1 attraction anywhere in the world, the man who gets much larger audiences than Elvis in his prime." He does so without a guitar. The man who loves our country more than anyone else, and the man who some say is the greatest president in history. Switching to all caps, the GOAT, staying in all caps, Donald J. Trump, to take the place of these highly paid, capitalized third-rate artists and give a major speech. I only want to be surrounded by happy people, smart people, a lot more odd capitalizations here, successful people, and people that know how to win. So by copy of this truth, I am ordering my representatives to look at the feasibility of doing an back to all caps America is back rally on Wednesday, Washington, D.C., same place, same location, only great patriots invited. It will be a wild and beautiful celebration of America, President Donald J. Trump. Will be wild? Last time he said that, it was an invitation to come to the Capitol on January 6th. But in that whole, you can't break up with me because I'm breaking up with you thing, was a little bit of desperation, right? To add insult to injury, as Trump fails and flails to keep young MC from running for the hills, Joan Baez has announced that she is the latest superstar to join the Power to the People Festival, curated by Rage Against the Machine's Tom Morello, who's been touring with Bruce Springsteen. That event is star-studded. It's going to help raise funds for pro-democracy causes. It's a festival that will feature Bruce Springsteen, Public Enemy, the Foo Fighters, Dave Matthews, and many more legit superstars and icons. And it's sold out. Don't tell Donald. And don't worry, Trump still has the CNC Music Factory guy, I think. Heilman will tell me if that's not the case anymore. Donald Trump throwing an absolute hissy fit as one-hit wonder after one-hit wonder flees his MAGA jamboree is where we begin the hour with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Puck News senior political columnist and national affairs analyst John Heilman is back with us. Heilman, I felt like we had to update the story from where we were on Friday when you informed me about some of the social media posts that I had missed. This story got a lot worse for Donald Trump, such that he posted this. I now, at least 3 times a week, take a Trump post and ask to verify it, to make sure it's real and not. And it used to be like half of them were real and some of them were just, floating around. Now they're all real and they're all absolutely bat bleep crazy.
Right. Well, look, in that the post that you just read, Nicole, there was one shred of truth in it, and that I think is a very high ratio for most Trump social media posts. He said that the acts that were getting the yips. Donald Trump understands the entirety of the world through the prism of golf. The yips is basically a golf term. He said they were all third-rate entertainers. I think that's kind of right. That's right. The problem for him, of course, is that the third-rate entertainers are abandoning him, and the second-rate entertainers would never even consider coming, and the first-rate entertainers are all going to be at Meriwether Post Pavilion on October 3rd with my friend Tom Morello and our mutual hero, Bruce Springsteen.
I mean, Howman, I sort of want to pull the curtain back, though, and explain. And I want to say that we've been joined in our conversation by the executive editor of Deadline.com, Dominic Patton, who I've turned to for all of these conversations, really for the last year and a half. I have bemoaned, and I've interviewed Joan Baez, where is culture? And she said to me, this moment is scarier than it was when she was, and I'll quote her, which she said, we were standing with Martin and we were there. She said we were together. We had the culture, we had the music, we had each other. And she said to me, I interviewed her about a year ago, this moment is worse. This moment feels scarier. It feels like, and I haven't talked to her recently, but it feels like that is starting to turn, that there is starting to be some safety in numbers in culture and art. There's still a lot of people, far too many, in my opinion, who are staying silent. But I think this story is a window into something we don't often get to see, and that is that no one prominent, respectable, in art wants to stand with Donald Trump, and many are happy now, maybe not happy, but are willing to stand against him. Dominic.
Well, I'd say, Nicole, for one thing, I find myself in the rare position of quoting Vanilla Ice, of all people. I heard a piece with Vanilla Ice recently where he talked about, because he's one of the few artists who's staying in with the Trump Fest, and he said, "I'll play for Putin. I'll play in Iran." And I thought, well, yeah, that's kind of the problem. You would do exactly that, and that's where I think the dividing line is coming: the people who will do that and the people who won't. When you talked about Joan Baez, who's obviously, as we know, performing with Tom and with Bruce and everybody else, these are people who, back then, I think we had a much more monoculture, for lack of a better expression. The fracture we see in culture now has for so long allowed people like the MAGA crowd to divide. That, I feel, is changing. I feel that there are a number of moves happening here. I mean, look, man, when Bret Michaels drops out, the national nightmare is over. So at that point, I think we know where the tide is turning here. And also, let's be honest, Tom and Bruce have way cooler people showing up. I mean, John was right. Trump referred to them as third raters. But pal, you picked them. That's your crowd.